Hi, this is Dr. Simeon Roger, and welcome again to Explosive Momentum. Welcome to the program. And obviously, we've got a little bit of time before the program begins, a couple of weeks, in fact. And because of that, I really wanted to be able to give you something that can help you get your mind on your side right now. Something can help you get started, something you can use productively in the interim. And actually, they're going to be probably a few things, but this is one of them. It's called Strengthen Your Mind, starting right now. Because right now, I'm going to give you a very, very important tip about how to get your mind on your side and really boost your own performance and your own satisfaction in life. So let's have a look at that. I have one question for you. Do you listen to your gut? Think about it. Do you listen to your gut? Well, ask yourself, what happens when you don't listen to your gut? When you let your head override what your gut is telling you? And obviously, you remember there have been times in your life like this. You know that feeling of your gut telling you something. You also know what it's like to override that and to allow your brain to decide what you're going to do. Now, what happens? Well, yeah, that's usually what happens to me too. And it's what happens, frankly, to everybody who lets their brain rule their life and ignores their gut. Pretty much everything goes to hell in a handbasket. And there's a reason for that. It's because your gut, in other words, your body really knows certain things. Your body has an innate intelligence, and it does tell you things of extreme value to you. And if you override those, then you pay the price. We all know that. That's just the way it is. So a lot of the time in the Explosive Momentum program, one of the main focuses we have because of this is to minimize your thinking. Yes, we want to minimize your thinking. Why? To get you back in touch with a deeper level of yourself, a deeper level of yourself. Well, how does this work? First question, the logical question is, why thinking is the problem? Is it a problem? Is thinking a problem? Well, you probably know the expression analysis paralysis. That's the whole idea that people tend to spend a lot of time thinking about a problem without taking any action on it or some new task that they've set for themselves. They think about it interminably and without taking action. So the idea is that the analysis becomes a form of paralysis. Now, there's a lot of truth in that. However, there is also one part of that expression that's highly misleading, and that is the word analysis. You see, when people are turning around in circles in their mind rather than taking action on something, what they're doing is not, in fact, analysis. It's not analysis at all. It's really just an undisciplined inner dialogue masquerading as analysis, but it is not analysis. And that undisciplined inner dialogue, it allows one of your brain's particular functions to take over. That function of your brain that takes over when undisciplined thinking is present is the function of keeping you relentlessly in your comfort zone, in the safety of your comfort zone. That's one of your brain's functions, and if you don't learn to contain it, it will run your life. So it'll create a constant sort of internal debate that results in self-doubt, that results in weak and hesitant actions, that results in failure. That's what it will do to you. So in other words, part of what we're going to be doing in Explosive Momentum is putting the brain in its place. So you are going to teach your brain how it is going to behave for you. You're no longer going to be the servant, you're going to be the master. Now, with that said, I do not under any circumstances want to give you the idea that all thinking is bad. Analysis, for instance, genuine analysis, genuine strategic thinking is absolutely vital. And it's something that individuals fail at all the time, and companies fail at all the time. Entire nations fail at all the time, but you're not going to. Now, that's something else. It's a different topic, and we're not here to address that analytical thinking or strategic thinking right now. Right now, we're here to do something else. So you say you're an emotional mess. Well, that mess resides on the level of the emotionalized thought stream of your rational mind, where you're stuck between hope and fear. As long as you're stuck between hope and fear, your chances of breaking free are infinitesimal, almost zero, because it's a giant mess. Okay, it's a big mess, and it's a mess you cannot fix. This is the important point. You cannot fix it with thinking. That won't work. You have to face it in a different way and almost work around it in order to eliminate it. And that's why we're going to go much deeper. We're going much deeper. We're going a whole lot deeper into what makes you tick. So flood all tanks, 15 degrees down on those bow planes, dive, 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 because we're heading to a different level of view, a much deeper level, the level we call the zone. Now, the zone, you've heard me talk about the zone before, and the zone is a verifiable neurological reality. It's a reality where you're incredibly creative, you're also very spontaneous, yet you're also completely uninhibited. When you're in the zone, you feel terrific. You really lose your sense of time. It's as if time doesn't exist. And it's almost like all of the powers that make up your psychophysical being are flowing in one direction, all beautifully and perfectly in sync. Something that's, is pretty rare. And that's why it feels so good. Now, the zone is really important. And would you agree that if I could show you a shortcut into the zone, that would be pretty valuable, wouldn't it? You see, you've been in the zone before. You've been in the zone many, many times in your life. It's simply that you may not have understood what was happening at the time. You didn't know its significance. You didn't know how valuable it was. And you may not have consciously known how to get there. But it's happened many, many times in your life. And one of the most powerful ways to be able to reconnect with getting into the zone is to take you back mentally to those times when you were there. And one of the fastest ways to do that is to ask yourself a series of very short questions. For example, what are you really good at? Yeah, what are you really good at, really exceptional at? What have you excelled at? And usually what you've excelled at are things you've enjoyed. And when you enjoy something tremendously, you tend to become absorbed in it. When you become absorbed in something, you tend to trip over into the zone neurologically. And so asking yourself that is a really, really good question. What do you geek out over, for instance? For me, you probably know I geek out over foreign languages. So, if someone comes to me and says, I'm in a terrible, terrible position here. I've absolutely got to learn foreign language X to conversational level, and I have only 3 months to do it in. Can you help me? I'll say, sure, I know exactly what to do. I'll describe it for you. I'll show you exactly every step you need to take. To me, that's home territory. It's very, very simple. I've done it many, many times. I can show you exactly how to do it. On the other hand, if someone came to me and said the same, with a very similar question about advanced trigonometry or algebra, I'd have to say, sorry, I'm not your guy. I haven't got a clue. So often it's about things you're really good at and abnormally good at, okay? Or another question you can ask yourself is, what have you coached other people in? Or in other words, what have other people seen in you? What results or abilities have they seen in you that they've wanted for themselves? And when you answer that question, it also gives you a clue about what you can focus on to get yourself back into the zone. Another question is, in what areas or endeavors do you always see what to do where others often don't? Or do you always know the answer where others often don't? And that's a really key thing too, right? So, again, for myself, I can think back to, one of the things I'm highly trained in is I'm a military analyst. And I remember vividly on the eve of the first Gulf War, for instance, I remember some of the commentaries on television by some of the talking heads talking about, oh, this is going to be a terrible war, massive casualties on both sides. And I'm sitting there with my knowledge of military affairs thinking, that's bullshit. That's not what's going to happen. The Iraqis are going to get run over almost by a truck that they don't see coming. They have no clue what they're up against. And that's exactly what happened. The coalition, pretty much, the Western coalition, ran over the Iraqi armed forces almost like it wasn't there, with no more casualties than you'd get from a training exercise. So it's often being able to understand a situation, evaluate it where other people aren't, or knowing what to do when other people don't. So all of these questions are vital, and you're going to have, I've just put in a couple of examples about me, but you're going to have your own examples. And that's the important thing, because when you think about these things, often these indicate areas of your life where you're really good. And it's important to understand that the thing that's going to kick you into the zone can apply in a number of ways. For instance, if you want to see somebody in the zone, yes, you can watch, say, a world-class figure skater, for instance. That's somebody in the zone. or Bruce Lee doing martial arts or something like that. That's in the zone. Now, those are athletic examples, but the zone is not exclusively in evidence in athletic endeavors, not by a long shot. It could be an intellectual endeavor. It could be a tactile endeavor. You could get into the zone building a deck on your house, or it could be an artistic endeavor. You could get into the zone painting, sculpting, doing something like that. So there are, or writing a book, for instance. There's so many ways, so many things that can get you into the zone. And again, they can be physical, tactile, athletic, intellectual, artistic, all of those, any of those. And one of the key features of the zone is when you're in the zone, you are totally focused. Totally focused. It's an incredible feeling to be that focused. There is no distraction when you're in the zone. You've toned out, essentially, tuned out the entire world. You are in your own world and doing what you do best. So these have been some indicators for you. And if you think about them and think about what it was that got you into the zone, you can begin to go back and recreate some of that in order to feel what it's like. So get back into what you used to love to do, and it'll give you a feeling for what it's like to be in the zone. And then we're going to take that and apply it to other areas of your life and show you how to get into the zone doing anything. Now, you're not going to spend your entire life in the zone, but you want to be able to get there. You want to know what gets you there, and you want to be able to do it on command. And the more you reconnect with the neurological reality of the zone, the stronger your mind is going to become. So those are some indicators for you. Just take them, do your best. Don't worry about results, just have fun with it. Make it absolutely clear for yourself. Your entire goal here is to have fun doing this. And the results will speak for themselves. So I'm Dr. Simeon Roger, and we'll be back at you with more later on. So take care until then. Bye for now.